Be greedy when others are fearful. Now, there's a quote that gets thrown around a lot in the investing world. Most people hear it, but only few people actually follow it. It sounds smart, but in practice, it's hard as shit to actually execute. And I get it. When everyone's scared, prices are falling, headlines are negative, that's exactly when you're supposed to put your big boy pants on and step in. And right now, Bitcoin is sitting in extreme fear territory. Let me explain real quick why that matters. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index scores the general crypto market sentiment on a scale of 0 to 100. 0 to 24 is extreme fear. 25 to 49 is considered fear. 50 to 74 is neutral to greed. And anything above 75 is extreme greed. When it drops below 25, historically, that's when panic is very high. People are selling emotionally. They're not selling based on logic. It's just pure emotional takeover. Retail interest collapses and confidence disappears. But here's the interesting part. If you actually look at historical data going back as far as 2018, buying Bitcoin during the extreme fear times has produced some of the best forward returns ever. To be specific, on average, the 12-month return after buying during extreme fear has been roughly 60 to 120%, depending on cycle timing. And in some cases, it's like over 150%. Now, obviously, averages don't necessarily guarantee anything, but patterns do matter. Extreme fear has historically marked undervaluation zones, not tops. Let me add another layer to this. The RSI. RSI, which stands for Relative Strength Index, measures whether something is overbought or oversold. Again, it has a scoring system. Below 30 is considered oversold, so Bitcoin is considered cheap at this level. Above 70, overbought, meaning it's considered expensive at the current price. Whenever Bitcoin's weekly RSI has dipped into oversold territory historically, it's usually been near cycle bottoms or major accumulation zones. Not always the exact bottom, but close enough that long-term buyers were rewarded handsomely. And right now, we're hovering in that exact oversold area. That means low sentiment, compressed momentum, and weak hands are exiting. That combination doesn't usually happen at tops. It happens when people are fully exhausted. Here's the bit most people misunderstand though. You don't make insane returns buying when it feels safe. You make them buying when it feels uncertain. Because when fear is high, sellers are emotional. Volatility shakes weaker people out. Narratives turn negative everywhere. But structurally, Bitcoin hasn't fundamentally changed at all. To me, it's still a very limited asset that is also highly desired by everyone. Adoption hasn't just suddenly disappeared overnight. So I really don't get the price drop other than just general market worries due to war escalations and fears of an aggressive market pullback. There has also been rumors of some exchanges actively trying to manipulate the price lower, which makes sense as an artificially lowered price would allow them to hoard loads at a cheaper price. But yeah, who knows? I just know that fundamentally nothing has changed. If anything, Bitcoin is more desired on a global scale than ever before, as well as accessible due to the Bitcoin funds people can now invest in. If anything, institutional infrastructure is actually stronger than ever. So let's sum this up. You've got strong long-term fundamentals paired with short-term emotional panic. That disconnect usually opens up for a golden opportunity in the long run. Look, I'm not going to say this is the exact bottom. Of course not. Nobody knows the exact bottom, and if anyone claims they do, don't listen to them. Follow actual data and patterns, not some random TikTok finance bro. Bitcoin could absolutely drop more. It's Bitcoin. It does wild shit sometimes. But I'm not trying to snipe the exact bottom. That's a fool's game. My job as an investor is to buy fundamentally strong assets in zones where sentiment is crushed, risk-reward is skewed, and historical probabilities favor upside over the longer term. And right now, we're in extreme fear territory for Bitcoin. So we're technically oversold. And historically, buying at these levels has really rewarded patient investors. So to sum my approach up, in a way, I'd rather be slightly early in fear than slightly late in greed. Because when greed comes back, and it always does in cycles, people will wish they had acted when things felt quiet and uncomfortable. If you're waiting to feel confident before buying, you'll likely just end up waiting for higher prices. Because confidence usually shows up after the move, and it comes in fast. Fear shows up before it. And I think that's the part most people struggle with. So yeah, don't take this as direct financial advice. This isn't your cue to sell your home, your cat, and one of your kidneys just to go all in on Bitcoin. I'm just explaining some of the historical data which I use to gauge when I should start accumulating. And for me, now is accumulation time. Not because it feels amazing, but because historically, this is where asymmetry lives. And if it drops another 10 or 20%, cool. I can mentally handle that. Even if it drops more, to be honest. I just completely detach emotionally. If you're not capable of that, that's fine. Everyone has their own tolerance levels. We'll just have to wait and see how this one ages. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you're buying or selling in this crazy market. Is Bitcoin broken, or is the current price just another one of those generational opportunities? And if you're curious on what moves I'm making in crypto and the stock market, join our Discord server. I share my thesis as well as all my live buys and sells. Last year, my picks crushed the market, and I plan on repeating that again for 2026. With that, take care, stay safe guys, and I'll see you in the next one.